everybody. It's Dr. Sanchez, and I'm here today making a video to help you prepare for your primate observation. And I'm joined today by my friend, the ringtail lemur. Oops, that's not his tail. There's his ringtail. And this is my ringtail that I got for supporting the World Wildlife Fund. So you can get yourself a nice little plushy toy if you so choose. But anyway, we'll put him away for now and talk about the primate paper. So for our major research project for this class, you will be doing a primate observation study. In order to do that, I recommend that you start off first by reading all the documents in the primate paper info folder on Blackboard, and that you also view the animal behavior PowerPoint. Open up every document, including the guidelines, and read those carefully so that you know all the different components that you need in order to create and produce an excellent paper. The second thing that you're going to want to do is to make a plan. You're going to need to plan which zoo you are going to go to. There are many options here in Texas. We have a number of first-class zoos at Waco, San Antonio, Houston, and Fort Worth. These zoos are large. They have many different kinds of species, including apes, such as gorillas, orangutans, and chimpanzees. So if you want to do observations on those kinds of primates, then you might want to plan a trip to one of these larger zoos. However, if time is of concern, then the Austin Zoo is perfectly uh, reasonable. It's a good choice. The Austin Zoo is a rescue zoo, which means that all of the animals there have been obtained from former pet owners or from farms or from other facilities and labs that could no longer maintain the animals. So the primates that you find at the Austin Zoo come from a number of different locations. It's not a very large zoo, but it does provide us with an opportunity to observe primates in close proximity. Some of the more popular animals at the Austin Zoo include ringtail lemurs, capuchins, and recently, in the past couple of years, a family of golden hand tamarins. These are refugees from a storm off the coast a couple of years ago. I don't remember which storm. Making your plan, you want to choose also when is a good time to go. And when, first of all, means sooner rather than later. Keep in mind that the deadline is coming up quite quickly for to turn in your paper. So you want to make sure that you give yourself enough time to go to the zoo, make your observations, and then write up your paper. So don't procrastinate. You also want to plan which primate you might like to observe. You want to plan on this because each primate has a different kind of social organization, morphology, sets of behaviors, and you're going to want to read up a little bit on those primates before you get to the zoo. So, for example, if you were going to be observing Paniscus bonobos, you would need to know that in bonobo society, females are dominant over males and that there are female hierarchies. This is in contrast to Pan troglodytes, common chimpanzees, where dominance hierarchies are formed by males, and males are the core members of the group. So you want to make sure that you understand the differences between the kinds of primates that you might be observing. This requires you to read up beforehand. Make sure that prior to your visit to the zoo, you know what kinds of behaviors you should expect, what types of routines primates have, and some basic information which is going to be helpful for you to make decisions about your observations. I also recommend that you call ahead to the zoo. You want to make sure that you double check their hours, and it's a good idea to ask them about their feeding schedules. Zoos keep the different animals on pretty tight feeding schedules, and animals are almost always much more active around feeding time. It's a lot of fun to observe the primates when they are getting their food. They act just like we do. They get excited, they're happy, and they are more active. Likewise, you'll find that many zoos will provide public forums, open talks by zookeepers that are very, very informative. Also, if you call ahead, you might be able to schedule a time to speak one-on-one with a zookeeper. This is more likely to be possible at the Austin Zoo than it is at a larger zoo. Another thing you might consider when planning on your trip to the zoo is to go during the weekday to avoid the weekend crowds. If you're pressed for time, again, I recommend that you choose the Austin Zoo, and it's very easy to get to. It's a great zoo, and it's the zoo that I personally support with my charitable contributions. For the observations themselves, make sure that you go prepared with the documents that you will need to make your observations. Now remember, I want you to do your observations directly on the forms that I have provided. So let's see, I have them here. Let me find them. So here is a focal animal sample sheet. And an ad libitum sample sheet. Keep in mind that you should do two ad libitum You should do two ad libitum observations, and you should do either two focal animal observations or two scan sample observations. The ad lib or ad libitum samples are reconnaissance measures, and for those, keep in mind that you should use as objective wording as possible, and to take down as many details as you can about the individuals that you are observing. This is a good way to get a handle on the kinds of behaviors that you can expect from your subject population. Then you should do at least two focal animal samples. For focal animal, you're going to observe two individuals, one at a time. So for instance number one, then you might want to observe a specific behavior such as grooming like we did in class, and you will only focus on that one individual and take observations at specific times. Then you will observe a different individual doing the same behavior. If you do two focal animal observations, then you will have a database for comparing and contrasting that will form a good discussion in your paper. If you have a large population, if you go to, for example, the Fort Worth Zoo and observe gorillas where there are many different individuals, then you can do scan sample at two different time periods for about 20 minutes each and compare and contrast levels of activity and types of activity that the group engages in. The whole point of this research project is for you to gain a feel for the kinds of techniques required to do scientific research. Objectivity, persistence, as well as analysis. So I hope that this video has been helpful to help you prepare for your visit to the zoo. Remember that you only have to go to the zoo once. You can go to the Austin Zoo. You don't have to go out of town. Again, I recommend that you call ahead, that you plan, and that you're prepared when you go. One final note, when doing observations, do not stare at the primates. In primate communicative systems, staring is an aggressive act, and it is very annoying to all other primates. Heck, it's annoying to me, right? So I don't want to be stared at, you don't want to be stared at, and you also don't want to provoke aggression in the primates you're observing. So I hope that you have a good time at the zoo. If you have any questions, feel free to speak with me after class, give me a call, or to send me an email. I'll be posting another video on how to put your paper together at a later time. So meanwhile, bye-bye.